Welcome to Thriving Tribesmen. My name is Corey, your host, and I'm excited to be making this episode. Why she doesn't give a shit, part 2. Now, part 1, we're talking about why she doesn't give a shit about your feelings, and what that means is that, if most, for you guys who have not listened to that episode, just a quick recap, is that you sharing how the sexless relationship is affecting you in terms of your feelings, how it's making you feel, feeling depressed, feeling unwanted, feeling unloved, feeling rejected. All of those feelings are not feelings that you should be sharing to your partner in order to get them to engage with changing a sexless relationship. If you do so, it will appear weak to your partner. And again, when you do share those feelings, she's got no way of responding to it. And now the question was, why is it that she's not responsive to that? And why is she ignoring that, or not even ignoring that? Why is she not responsive to that? And that was the question. And why does she not give a shit? And really, a large chunk of it comes back down to us, how we view women and how we view relationships. And a lot of it comes down to how we get validation from relationships. Now, I've said this many times, a lot of you guys within sexless relationship, just like most people, in order to get validation from the people that were caregivers to you, you had to do something really good in order to feel validated. So your parents only validated you when you did something good. So for example, if you behaved well or you had a very good act, that's when your parents would say, Tim is such a good boy. And then you would feel the most love. And when you were not behaving really well, you were given a very bad treatment, or there was no real assurance as a parent that you, as you are, you're just enough. So that's like the blueprint of how you're going to engage with people in terms of love. So you feel like you need to be very clever around people. You feel like you need to be the one that helps everyone. You need to be the one that's available for everyone. And that's your mechanism of getting validation and wanting to be loved. And this, you bring it into your relationship. So when it now comes down to your relationship, when she's the most invested, when she's the most engaged with the relationship, you start minimizing what she's doing. So as an investment perspective, you're saying, you know what, you don't need to invest. I want to do all the investment because I need to prove to you how good I am as a boyfriend. How good I am as a potential husband. And I'm going to prove that to you by lowering the amount of investment that you're doing. And she will oblige to it. She'll be like, wow, okay, I don't need to invest. It's like, for example, you coming into work and then they say, somebody, security at the door says, you don't have to come in and do some work. You can go back home and relax, and you're still going to get paid for it. And basically, that's what it is. That most of you guys did this over a period of time. And then she's got used to staying at home and getting paid for it. And then one day, your employer goes, what the fuck? This person isn't in. Let me try and get them to come to work now. And then all of a sudden, you've now got all these habits that have been created around you not going to work. And then all of a sudden, now you're saying, I need you to come into work. It feels like a burden. It feels really difficult. And this is where your wives are and your partners are, because you've told them that the investment was not good and you took over that. Now, in terms of the relationship, she needs to be doing some investment in order for you guys to be having a good sex life, and you've told her she's not meant to. So now when you say it's time for you to make some investment, it's like she doesn't give a shit. In fact, when instead of you telling her to put more investment into the relationship, you're telling her how it makes you feel. And therefore, this is why it's got what are you talking about? I mean, before you were quite happy to take all the investment of relationship. You were willing to take all the work and do everything within the relationship. Now you want me to do something? What the fuck? And this is on her side. So this is the reason why she doesn't give a shit. It's not because she's an absolute psychopath who doesn't love you or anything. I think there still is love, and a lot of it is there's a burying effect. So you've buried everything that is to do with seduction, sex, and so on, because she doesn't see any value in it. She doesn't see any value in it because you've lowered the investment that is required for her to feel like she's engaged in the relationship. So it's a very, very crazy dynamic that we've created, and a lot of it again comes back down to some of these shows that we're watching when we're growing up, things like Friends, watching these romantic comedies. This is how the references that we have for what a loving relationship is, and all of those guys are pathetic, all of them, in terms of characters. In fact, I was speaking to one guy, he said, "Oh, well, maybe Joey is." I was like, no, Joey is just as pathetic. In fact, if you think about Friends, the only guy who was a real male is when Bruce Willis was in it, and that's how males should be behaving. And even then, the writers wrote him to become a fucking pansy as well, because they made him cry and all that shit. Again, that you can see that how there's this anti-masculine agenda as they were doing that. It's again, it's very, very important to see that craziness. So that has been what shaped how you think about relationships, and really, when it comes back to relationships, again, it's raising those standards and raising her investment is very important, because again, when she starts investing, where you put your most attention and your most effort is where you put your most value. So, for example, if she's in contribution to the relationship, then she becomes more engaged in the relationship because she sees that the value of it. It's like the difference between somebody who wins $1 million with the lottery and somebody who works 12 hours for every day for the next 50 weeks and then makes a million. The way they view that money is completely different because of the effort that has been put in, or at least the investment that's been put in order to get that money. Same amount, but different psychology in terms of how they value it. So you have to look at it from that perspective, and her value of what the relationship is and your feelings, it comes down to how much she's investing. If you've lowered her investment in terms of the relationship, you've lowered your standards and how she should engage with you, she's not going to care what she's on easy mode. In fact, I was saying this recently to my partner, and we're talking about how cats, if any of you have lived with cats, they are fascinating animals. They can absolutely hate being around you. But at the same time, they expect you to feed them. They expect you to give them a house to live. And when you want affection, they want you to fight for their affection. And again, so they feel entitled. They think that they're quite narcissistic. I mean, I'm saying a lot of wives are like that. And again, it's not because they're cruel and they're born like that way. It's that we've made them that way. And again, a lot of it is just bad programming from us. We've just got no real lessons on how to be real boyfriends and husbands. So again, as a follow-up, it kind of makes sense why they are the way they are. Like I said, the example of the employer who says, sit at home and I'll pay you for sitting at home. And then all of a sudden, now you want them to engage. It's psychologically, it's a very difficult place for that person, because all of a sudden, why is it that now you want me to do some work when I've spent all this time not doing anything, and you want me to do something, I don't want to do it, and I don't give a shit how you feel about it. I just don't want to do it because I'm already used to not investing into this thing. You told me that it was okay for me to sit at home. All of a sudden you want me to come and do some work. What the fuck? So it's that's where you are. And in order to change this, it's got to take levels of skills and there's some lessons from us, especially when going through the Reignited Men process. We're going to give you an opportunity to come and join us. And that opportunity starts off with having a call. And that call is for free. We call it the Seduction Blueprint. It's a free guide that will give you. You come over to us, we have a phone call. It is part of the way we get clients, and we give you some homework. So we find out what's going on in the relationship. We give you a strategy to go and start changing your relationship. That is a piece of homework that you're going to go and do. You try out a piece of the Reignited Men process, and we are vetting you as much as you are trying it out. If you don't do the homework or you don't execute, it gives us indicators that maybe we're not at the right place for you to join the Reignited Men. If you go and execute and you're excited about the result that you've got, then we'll walk you through what that looks like. Again, it's not no pressure sales. In fact, a lot of the guys that I'll bring one guy on to speak about the sales process, and they'll tell you that initially on the first call, I will tell you exactly what it means to be part of the Reignited Men process. So we'll take that out of the way so that you're not thinking about being sold to. And I will only mention it once, and you get only one opportunity to join the Reignited Men. I will never pressure you. I'll never force you. I'll never do anything of that sort. So I'm saying this because I want you to feel free to come to our Instagram, thriving_tribesmen, and type in blueprint so we can actually give you a result way before we even invite you to join Reignited Men. Like I said, it's for free. There's a lot of guys that we've helped with this. Last year, we empowered 239 men in their relationship. So again, this year you're going to be one of them. So I'm encouraging you to go to thriving_tribesmen on Instagram, and we'll get your relationship back and get you to the place where you're excited about being in your relationship. So thank you very much. I'll be seeing you soon. Take care.